welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 11-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, I do have an announcement to make as far as my Patreon package for my Patreon members. And the channel overall, I have added a DK points per minute and FanDuel points per minute calculation to my projections because, I always do have a general idea of how good of fantasy producers these guys are, but I want to be able to give you guys the most specific and informative information possible. So now, when we're discussing, if this guy's a good fantasy point per minute producer, we can actually, have an exact total alongside my projections, alongside my rankings, and alongside all the other stuff I offer over there. If you are interested in some further content from me, I do offer an NBA package where you get all these things: an NBA projections, NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play context stats, core plays, injury impact insights, and NBA Discord chat access. I have about 11 members over there, so come and join the KJK DFS team. Building a community. I've been playing daily fantasy sports since 2016. I've been a member of these other sites, these big sites that charge you, $40, $50, $30 a month or whatever the case may be. And I've gone ahead and I've put together a package that offers all the things that they have and more at a much more affordable price. So come and join the team. You can ask me questions all the way up to lock. You can get access to all my spreadsheets, all of that stuff if you're interested. If not, that's fine. I'll be here providing you with free content all season long. And I have partnered recently with Thrive Fantasy. You can use promo code KJK DFS and sign up over here at Thrive Fantasy to receive a 100% deposit match up to $50 when you deposit $20 or more. And what Thrive is essentially it's a players prop site where you go in. They have different contests for all different sports: NFL, NBA, MLB, soccer, golf, all these fun things. You enter a tournament or another contest. They offer multiple formats, and we pick a certain player prop over under, and when you do, you get assigned a certain amount of points. So it's a 200-point total. The more likely that it is to happen, the more points or less points you get, the less likely it is to happen, the more points you get. So, for example, tonight Victor Oladipo has a 0.5 steals prop. If you pick the under, you get 130 points. If you pick the over, you get 70 points. So obviously, it is more likely that Victor Oladipo is going to, accumulate a steal tonight. But if you play contrarian, that's how you win the big prizes over here on Thrive. And they do offer a props lobby as well. That's really, really cool. It's like a parlay type of thing. You can pick 2 out of 2 players correctly and win 3.x your entry, or 6x your entry. You can pick 3 out of 3 correct and win 6.2x your entry. You can pick 4 out of 4 correctly and win 11 times your entry. So if I were to do, the big one, if I pick 4 different players, I hit submit, I can select the amount of money I want to put in. If I put in $1, I'd win $11. If I put in $5, I can win $55 if I get all 4 of those props right. So very excited to be partnering with those guys. Very excited about what's going on over at Thrive. And if you are interested in checking that out, use promo code KJK DFS to receive a 100% deposit match when you deposit $20 or more up to $50. With all that being said, let's go ahead and break down the slate today. First game on the slate, Chicago at Charlotte. This game comes in right now with a 3.5 spread in favor of the Charlotte Hornets. Not exactly, a huge spread expected to stay close. There is no over-under release for this game, but I'd expect this game to have, a pretty mediocre over-under. Not bad, not good. Zach LaVine at the top at 9.5. This guy's been an absolute usage monster for his team on the Chicago side, really having a breakout season. You can see the last 3 out of 4 games, he's put up 54 plus DraftKings points, 66, 55, 54 DraftKings points, at 31.5 being his worst. And I definitely do have a lot of interest in Zach LaVine in this one, taking on the Charlotte side. That does not scare me defensively at all. I mean, we got Zach LaVine highlighted right here. Hornets are the 22nd best defense overall, 11th best against his position, but he's putting up 1.27 DK points per minute, and I've got him projected for around 31 minutes right now, with room for upside. If you're looking at his game log, he's played 45, 35, and 33 minutes, so around a 33-minute projection is where you're looking at for him. LaMelo Ball at 7.8. This guy's been an absolute fantasy point per minute beast as well. The only problem with him is the minutes, limit coming off the bench. This guy's all the way up to 7.8 as a 6-man, which goes to show you how good he's been. 40, 61, 44, 46 DraftKings points. A very high ceiling. The only problem is he's coming off the bench, but in a game against a Chicago team that's not the best defensively, you could be playing some ball and feeling pretty good about it. Gordon Hayward is the guy that had the most interest on the Charlotte side. He's priced cheaper. He's at 7.7. He is getting starter minutes, up to 40 minutes or so when he's in a close competitive game, high 30s. and definitely have some interest in him as well. Terry Rozier, Devontae Graham, these guys down here, I'm not really looking to all that much. I mean, they are priced pretty appropriately compared to, or pretty friendly compared to the guys we were just talking about. So that's the appeal there. It's just the problem with all the usage of being dug into them. And the usage to go around. You got PJ Washington, Terry Rozier, Devontae Graham. Um, you know, you could definitely play one. I have a hard time believing that multiple of these guys are going to get there. So buyer beware. Probably pick 2 out of the 3 at most, not trying to play all 3. And then the Chicago side, if you're looking to further people outside of Zach LaVine, you could definitely play. Well, Wendell Carter Jr. is doubtful in this one, so that's going to give a bump up even more so to Lauri Markkanen and Zach LaVine, because when he's off the court, that gives them a big bump in usage. It looks like they get about a 6% increase in usage when he's off the court. So Lauri Markkanen and Zach LaVine are very, very good plays in this one. You could play a guy like a Garrett Temple and a Thad Young as well, who are bound to get more minutes and more usage with no Wendell Carter Jr. in this one. But the problem is they got priced way up. These are guys we were paying, down more towards 4K, 3K for. Now they're up in the high 4K range. So that's all I'd be looking to in this one. Moving further along, Houston at Detroit. Christian Wood is out in this one with an ankle injury. So it'll be interesting to see, who they start. So last time this happened, I think DeMarcus Cousins got the start. They kind of have to start DeMarcus Cousins now. They're running out of bodies. They have no John Wall. They have no Christian Wood. They have no Daniel House Jr. So last time out, I said I really like DeMarcus Cousins, and that's still true. The problem is if he starts or not. They've been limiting him to like 18 minutes a game. Last time he got the start, he was able to put up 34 DraftKings points, but we need him to be starting to have interest in him in this one. If he's not starting, we're just going to have interest in whoever slots into the starting role, and then there's room for upside for other guys as well, for sure, as far as the big men are concerned. So Jayshawn Tate, I'm going to have a lot of interest in. Eric Gordon, I'm going to have a lot of interest in. Victor Oladipo, I'm going to have a lot of interest in. All these guys are going to receive usage bumps. And then on the cheap end, PJ Tucker is not a good fantasy point per minute producer, so I wouldn't be playing him. David Nwaba, kind of same rule applies. He's up at 4K now. You're paying like 3.2 for this guy and excited about it, but now that he's 4K, not really trying to go there all too much. I'd have some interest in Ben McLemore and Sterling Brown off the bench. Mason Jones, these guys priced down here in the 3K range because they actually have the upside to get their price tag paid off. Sterling Brown is more so of a wing, so probably getting more minutes than these other guys we discussed. And then possibly a Kurucs, who got traded to Houston and hasn't really had a chance to show his talents. But he's a pretty good fantasy per minute producer when he gets the opportunity. It's just a matter of getting the opportunity. And with no Christian Wood in this one, he could get some minutes. So be interesting to see how my projections shake out. I'm always keeping an eye on my projections. On the Detroit side, this is a very good matchup taking on the Houston team that's not very good defensively, and they're just going to get worse with no Christian Wood. I really like the big men in this one. They're going to have a mismatch down low. So I like Blake Griffin. I like Mason Plumlee at 6'2" and 5'2". Both of these guys make a lot of sense. Taking on, a not so good defensive team in Houston. And then I also do have interest in Derrick Rose. And that would be the extent of my interest in this team. It's really these 3 guys. The usage is pretty condensed. We know where the ball's going. It's Derrick Rose, it's Blake Griffin, it's Mason Plumlee because of the size mismatch down low that I like now. So that's who I would be looking to. On the Detroit side, Josh Jackson is questionable. If he is out, it's looking like he's more so probable. So that's it. Those are the guys I have interest in on the Detroit side. Moving further along, Orlando at Indiana. Domantas Sabonis at the top at a 9.9 price tag. This game doesn't have an over-under release yet, but it has a 3-point spread in favor of the Indiana Pacers. So a game that's expected to stay close with no Victor Oladipo in Indiana. We can continue to target Domantas Sabonis. We can continue to target Malcolm Brogdon. I'm going to be targeting these guys heavily now with their adjusted roles, and they don't have exactly adjusted price tags yet. They haven't ever had that big upside game since Oladipo left, but it's coming. So I definitely have interest in both of these guys. More so Malcolm Brogdon just due to the price discount. But Sabonis fits a forward and a center spot that you need to fill, so he makes a lot of sense. Miles Turner is listed as questionable. So we have to keep an eye on him. If he's out, that's going to open up more minutes for guys like Doug McDermott, Justin Holiday, um, Jeremy Lamb, and Aaron Holiday are interesting options as well with no Oladipo. Jeremy Lamb played 19 minutes in his debut just 2 days ago, so that's pretty decent run for him, and he could definitely get you there at his price tag if he gets hot, because Jeremy Lamb is a very good fantasy point per minute producer. It's just a matter of whether he gets the minutes. And then a value play would be Jakar Sampson. If there is no Miles Turner in this one, he's expected to get more run as well. But my main, interest would be Doug McDermott, Justin Holiday, as far as getting a usage bump increase with no Miles Turner in this one, if that's the case. On the Orlando side, it's pretty blended together, honestly. Aaron Gordon, Terrence Ross, Evan Fournier. Evan Fournier coming back is kind of really hurting the usage of Terrence Ross and not really helping himself all too much. I don't know. It's kind of blended. So at 5'8" and 5'4", both these guys are cheaper, so you can play them if you wanted. But I really have most of my interest in the two main beneficiaries of this offense, and that is Nikola Vucevic and Aaron Gordon. Both these guys are in the front court. I'm not worried about their minutes getting taken away from other guards that come in off the bench and stuff. And both of them are making a lot of sense. So Aaron Gordon and Nikola Vucevic definitely going to be playing in this one. As far as the matchup concerned for Vuce, they are the 10th best team defensively, so not exactly the best. And it's really just coming down to whether Miles Turner is in the game or not. If Miles Turner is out, that's a big bump up for both of these guys in the front court because they're going to be guarded by much less dominant defenders. So keep an eye on that one. Brooklyn at Cleveland. We just saw this game the other night. James Harden comes in with a 10-8 price tag. This game comes in with a 227.5 over-under with a 10-point spread in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. Game really comes down to whether it stays close or not. Andre Drummond on the Cleveland side makes a ton of sense because he's the only really guy that can keep it close. After putting a bad performance up last game, though, he only played 26 minutes. Game kind of went small. So that's a little scary seeing how things went last time. But Colin Sexton definitely makes a ton of sense in this one after putting up a huge game last time out to keep them in the game. Put up 63.75 DraftKings points. Will his ownership be higher? Possibly, but he's the number one beneficiary in this offense, getting a ton of usage. He's the guy to be going to. Larry Nance Jr., Jared Allen, Chetty Osman, all these guys are kind of priced right around the same range. We saw Jared Allen put up 31 minutes and 39 DraftKings points last time out. I really like him at the 6'6" price tag. I'm going to continue to have interest in him. Larry Nance, on the other hand, at 6'7", he's going to be a little more inconsistent than Jared Allen, I'm sure. He's playing more so the 3 role now with Jared Allen around, so he can definitely still get you there. It's just a matter of positional eligibility and the power forward position being taken up by him when you could be playing other guys in more predominant roles. So you have to decide for yourself on that one. And then on the Brooklyn side, outside of the studs, who I'd be looking to would be DeAndre Jordan and Jeff Green. Both of these guys are getting the most run in this new look team. So these are the guys I'd be looking to if I'm not playing one of the top 3 studs. Now, the top 3 studs, my interest really is in Kyrie at 9K because of his price tag. Kevin Durant and James Harden are both priced way up. Not saying they both can't get there. I mean, Kevin Durant put up 77 DraftKings points last time out. James Harden put up 59. And again, that went to overtime, though. You can't really factor that into your projections. You can't be projecting overtime. So, yeah, I mean, I would lean towards playing Kevin Durant because you're fitting in an elite guy at the small forward, power forward position. That's a position that's not quite as strong as the guard position. Guard position, we can fit in guys like a Malcolm Brogdon, like a Kyrie Irving, as opposed to, James Harden. Unless we get a ton of value that opens up, I would be favoring playing Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant over James Harden currently, just based on position eligibility and some other options that we discussed on the slate. Boston taking on Philadelphia. Joel Embiid at the top at a 10-1 price tag. This game comes in with a 5-point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. The Boston Celtics continue to be without Jason Tatum, which means I'm going to continue to really like Jaylen Brown at his 8.5 price tag. He's only put up 39, 37, 36 DraftKings points, but we're just waiting on that 60, 70-point game from him, in my opinion. He's going to get a ton of usage with no Jason Tatum. Only problem is Kemba Walker's back, which is taking away a little bit of his on-ball handling duties, but Kemba's only playing around 20 minutes a game. So that still makes me like, Jaylen Brown the most by far. And Marcus Smart, another guy you could be having interest in at a much cheaper price tag. At 6'2", he put up 37.5 DraftKings points last time out in the same matchup. He definitely has 50-point upside with no Jason Tatum, so I'd like him. On the on the Philadelphia side, I'm not really looking to play Ben Simmons at 8'4". I think he's kind of in that no man's land, and he's really just been kind of mediocre as far as fantasy point production at his price tag. Not looking to go there. I have a lot more interest in Joel Embiid. He put up 65 DraftKings points in the same matchup last time out, and he makes a lot of sense. And then Tobias Harris at 7'1", as well. A guy that can shoot the three-pointer, a guy that's a price at a discount compared to a guy like Ben Simmons that we just talked about. And Shake Milton and Seth Curry are interesting options as well. Shake Milton is a lot more interesting if there is no Seth Curry. Seth Curry comes in questionable. Looking like he's more so probable, but he was out due to conditioning last time out because he was out for the injury for so long. So I take it he's not going to be playing his full run right off the bat. Probably looking to fade him. Would have more interest in Shake Milton and Danny Green in this one. Not really a ton of interest. I'd have most of my interest in Shake Milton just because of Seth Curry being limited. But number one guy in this offense for me playing tonight is Joel Embiid for sure. Moving further along, Miami at Toronto. Bam Adebayo comes in with an 8-6 price tag at the top in this game. This game comes in with a 2-point spread in favor of the Toronto Raptors. And this game is going to be one I can go through real quick because I don't think I'm going to have a ton of interest in it. It's going to be very defensive heavy. Unless the line comes out and shocks me, I'm expecting this game to be very low over-under with both of these teams having, defenders like Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam. Jimmy Butler's out, but still the rest of these guys are pretty good defensively as well. Goran Dragic. So probably not going to have a ton of interest in this one. I will say the rotations are really condensed and it's very predictable as far as where the minutes are going to go. All these guys are getting like 40 minutes a game. So if the slate lines up to where I'm having a lot of mid-range value, I could see having more so interest in these guys. But if we have some cheaper value where we're able to get up to some studs, I'm going to have a lot less interest in this one. I will say that Pascal Siakam is questionable. So that's going to make Chris Boucher a tremendous play at 7-3. He's already my favorite option in this game by far. Honestly, if you're forcing me to play one guy in this game, it's Chris Boucher, and it's not even close. So I'd be looking at him. Kendrick Nunn, we've seen get a lot of opportunity with no Jimmy Butler. He put up 34, 35 minutes the last two games. He's put up 34 and 47 DraftKings points. He continues to be priced only at 5'4", so he makes a lot of sense as a play, based on his price tag. And Kelly Olynyk, you can play at 5'5", same rule applies to him. More usage with no Jimmy Butler. But those are just price tag hunting. The pay-up options, a little skeptical until we find out if Pascal Siakam is out. If Pascal Siakam is out, of course, that gets a bump up to Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, Chris Boucher. So, and then Bam Adebayo already has the biggest bump with no Jimmy Butler and holding down the big man front on this offense. So, I don't know. Not to contradict myself, I don't think it's going to be the best game environment, but based on injury news, we have Tyler Hero questionable as well. So if he's out, that's going to be a bump up to Goran Dragic and Kendrick Nunn as discussed. So I guess, pending the injury news of Pascal Siakam and Tyler Hero, we could be having more interest in this one than at first glance, I thought I would. So just keep an eye on those guys' injuries and know the guys that get a bump if they're out. Atlanta at Minnesota. Excited about this one. This is probably, my favorite game that I'm going to want to talk about on the slate. Trae Young comes in with a 9-6 price tag with a 4.5 spread in favor of the Atlanta Hawks. There's no over-under in this one right now, but I can tell you this game is going to fly. Both these teams are really bad defensively. And I would have a ton of interest in this one. Trae Young and D'Angelo Russell, absolutely love both of these guys. 9-6 for Trae Young, finally putting up big games. 50, 55, 66 last 3 times out. He's looking like he's back to the old Trae Young form, so I'm excited to be playing some Trae Young at only 9-6. I like D'Angelo Russell a lot. 8-7, there continues to be no Karl-Anthony Towns. That means D'Angelo Russell is going to get all the usage. I like Clint Capella a lot. No Karl-Anthony Towns. Even though Karl-Anthony Towns is a terrible defender, that's still going to help Clint Capella's case because he's not taking on, a starting caliber big down low. Malik Beasley at 6'9 is going to be another guy I have a lot of interest in on the Minnesota side for sure. John Collins at 7'4. If there continues to be no Cam Reddish, if there continues to be no DeAndre Hunter, he becomes a much better play. I had a lot of interest in John Collins last time out with no DeAndre Hunter. He's just going to get more usage, more rebounds, more opportunity. at 7-4. He went up there and put up 49 DraftKings points last time out. He could definitely get you 50 plus in this one. So keep an eye on DeAndre Hunter. Keep an eye on Danilo Gallinari. Keep an eye on Cam Reddish. All these guys, because that's going to impact, the guys more so off the bench, the guys more so in the mid-price range. Regardless, I love Trae Young. I love D'Angelo Russell. I love Clint Capella. I love Malik Beasley. Those are my top 4. The pay-up options in this game you got to absolutely love. And then Kevin Huerter's priced at 5.9 after being priced up at 9.5 last time because of a pricing mistake on DraftKings' part. I could have a lot of interest in him for sure if this Hawks team continues to be hurt with these guys out. So yeah, a lot of interest in that game. Make sure you're playing some guys in this one. Make sure you're playing the main usage guys. Naz Reid and Vanderbilt are even interesting plays at 5.2 and 5K. So possibly playing them. It looks like their usage is getting, or their minutes are getting spread around a little bit more to the guys down like a Kobe and things like that, though. So once again, injury dependent. If Kobe's out, I'm gonna like him more. Looks like Kobe's probable. So, but definitely get those main guys in this game in your lineups. You're gonna like what they produce in this fast-paced game. Dallas taking on San Antonio. We got Luka Doncic at 10-9. This game comes in with a 222.5 over-under with a 3-point spread in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. So not exactly, the top total on the slate, but maybe some guys we could be going to. Mainly Luka Doncic at 10-9. We know how much this guy produces on a fantasy points per minute basis. Right now, he's producing 1.63 DK points per minute that he's on the floor. I got him projected for 38 minutes. Guy that's playing a ton of minutes, ton of usage, ton of production. So he makes a lot of sense. Not the best matchup, but if you're paying up for a guy, and you want him to know that he has all the usage in the offense, I'd rather be paying up for Luka Doncic than like a Kevin Durant or a James Harden in the other game where we don't exactly know where that ball is going to. Kristaps Porzingis is starting to see low 30 minutes. He's priced at 8.1. Could be an interesting option in this one if we have the value to get up to him. He could definitely put up 60 DraftKings points at that price tag. You wouldn't mind that at all. So got to keep an eye on his production and his minutes as we go along here. Producing at about 1.28 DK points per minute. I got him projected for mid-30s. Like 34 minutes is what he grades out in my projections right now. So he could definitely get you there. It's just he's kind of right on the cusp of being too overpriced. But you could go there. DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray, priced at 7.9 and 7.4. Both these guys seeing a lot of usage. If I'm picking my favorite option on the San Antonio side, it's definitely DeJounte Murray at 7.4. Just because of his price tag and his production, he's priced down in the low 7K range. He can get you up to 50 plus DraftKings points. LaMarcus Aldridge, same rule applies to him at 5.5. We've seen him really struggle recently, though, so kind of scary going him, and he's only playing around 20 minutes. I'd prefer to play a Keldon Johnson at 6.3, the young guy that's getting more minutes, still can produce. I'd have a lot of interest in him. Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Maxi Kleber continue to be out on the Dallas side, so that's going to open up more usage for a Jalen Brunson off the bench, for a Willie Cauley-Stein. So you could be going to these guys. Willie Cauley-Stein, I think, is priced pretty appropriately, though, based on his role. So probably more so interest in Jalen Brunson at his 4.7 price tag. We've seen him get 27 and 34 minutes the last 2 times out. If he continues to see big minutes, he could definitely put up 40 DraftKings points at only a 4.7 price tag, so I like him. Oklahoma City at the Los Angeles Clippers. As far as Vegas is concerned, this game comes in with a 221 total with a 13-point spread in favor of the Los Angeles Clippers. So I think I can keep this one real short and sweet. Not all too interested in anyone really on the Clipper side. If I'm picking one guy, it's Paul George. He's priced cheaper than Kawhi Leonard. He's taken on his former team in the Oklahoma City Thunder. And if he's going to blow out the other team, he could definitely still get you 60 DraftKings points if he just goes off in the first half. So I like him. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is Oklahoma City's only chance of keeping it close in this one, so he makes a lot of sense on the opposing end. And the Los Angeles Clippers haven't exactly been, the most impressive defense. I will say, it's funny because I say that they've been giving up some weaknesses. They are the number 1 ranked defense, but I have noticed some weaknesses because the Clippers are known for defense, obviously. They have Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Patrick Beverley, all these guys that are supposed to be elite defenders. So my point in saying they haven't been that good is in my transition and my defensive half-court stats, half-court and putbacks. It's actually surprising as to how much the Clippers are giving up. Because if you go down to the Clippers, you can see they're 26th in the league, giving up 114.3 points per possession in the half-court setting. Even though they grade out as a great defense, that might be factoring in that there's been blowout time, whatever the case may be. Point being, I'm a little surprised when I look at my sheet and I see that, but they are ranked number 1 as far as defending the point guard position. So tough position for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. However, if they get down in this game, I can see him getting some more garbage time. I do like Dort. I do like Isaiah Roby with no Al Horford continuing to be out. Both these guys make sense if there's some blowout run as well. Both of these guys can get up to the 40-50 DraftKings points range, and they're both priced around 5K. So I like those guys. I like Darius Bazley at 4.9. They make a lot of sense if you're playing the blowout route. The Clippers side, you could play a Luke Kennard, who's going to get blowout run if the game gets blown out. You could play a Lou Williams. Both these guys are priced at 4.1 and 3.7. Very, very cheap for their upside. These guys are both interesting tournament plays, so I'd have interest in them. That's pretty much my overall breakdown on that one. Expected to be a blowout. Denver at Phoenix. Nikola Jokic at 11K. This game comes in with a 218 over-under. Not exactly expected to be the fastest game in the world. And honestly, I'm not going to have a ton of interest. Kind of can just skip over this one. I mean, you could play Chris Paul. You could play Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr. is questionable. If he returns, that's going to throw even more minutes in the rotation. That's going to take away from Jamal Murray, take away from Will Barton. I would really just have interest in the point guards in this one. Chris Paul at 7.2 and Jamal Murray at 7K, the guys that have the most on-ball handling duties. I like them. And then, of course, you can't play Nikola Jokic at 11K. This guy's, so involved, passing, rebounding, scoring. I just am a little concerned about the pace in this one. You're paying $11,000 for this guy. Last time he took on Phoenix, he put up 49 DraftKings points. At 11,000, that's not going to get you there. You need like 70 DraftKings points in tournaments from Nikola Jokic, so not really looking to pay up there. If Michael Porter Jr. is out, we could continue to target Will Barton and Paul Millsap at 5.5 and 4.8. Both these guys make sense, getting some more usage with no Porter, but if he's back, I'm not even trying to go to this team, really. So not a ton of interest to be had in that one. New York taking on Sacramento, last game of the slate. Julius Randle comes in at a 9.1 price tag, my lock of the night last time out, putting up big games night in and night out. You've got to love Julius Randle. Only a 218 over-under, unfortunately, with a 4-point spread in favor of the Sacramento Kings. So it is expected to be a slow-paced game. However, with that being said, the usage is just so condensed in these offenses. We know where we're going. We're going to Julius Randle and RJ Barrett on the New York side. It's really clear. Julius Randle putting up 53.75 DraftKings points last night at an 8.8 price tag. The only thing I don't like is he got his price tag bumped back up to 9.1. I was really liking that they put his price tag back down in the 8K range and made it easy for me to play him. Now at 9.1, you got to think about it a little more. De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield are the two guys I'd be looking to on the Sacramento side. This game is a little slower, so I'm not really trying to pay up 8.8 for De'Aaron Fox, to be honest. I'd have more interest in RJ Barrett, 6.8. He's cheaper. He has similar upside. He has similar minutes production. He's getting 40 minutes a game about in competitive games, high 30 minutes. So I like RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Buddy Hield, 6'4", and Rashawn Holmes. These are the guys I'm looking to price target. Buddy Hield, Rashawn Holmes, Mitchell Robinson, that are priced more so appropriately for the pace of the game. They can definitely still get you there at a slower pace game due to their price tag. If you're paying all the way up for De'Aaron Fox at 8.8, sure, he might get you 40 fantasy points in this one with the pace, but that's not enough. I'd rather target these cheaper guys down low. And then Alec Burks is a very interesting option at 5.1. We saw him play 31 minutes in his return. I absolutely love him at this 5.1 price tag, so he'd be my favorite option in this game alongside his teammates and RJ Barrett and Julius Randle, but he's priced way cheaper. And Halliburton at only 5.3 on the Sacramento side is the guy with the biggest upside for his price tag. So both these guys priced in the low 5K range make a lot of sense. And you could play a Reggie Bullock at 4.2 who gets a lot of minutes. Not exactly the best fantasy point per minute producer, but a very good three-point shooter. He shot 4 for 5 last time out. If he can just get hot from behind the arc, you might be having some interest in him. Jabari Parker has been back, but we haven't seen him play any minutes. Hassan Whiteside is questionable. Bielitsa is questionable. So, that could open up some more minutes for these wings that we were talking about. And Glenn Robinson specifically at 3.1. Last time out playing 21 minutes, he's only 3-1, so he would make a lot of sense as a value play. And that is my overall breakdown of the slate. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be no other than Mr. Trae Young at 9.6. This guy's still priced down compared to the price tag we were paying for him early in the season. This guy started out with a 10-1, 10-2 price tag with his expected usage and fantasy point production. Really struggled early on in the season, but we've started to see the old Trae Young come back to life. Really like him in this one. Put up 66 DraftKings points last time, taking on a Detroit team. This Minnesota team has been absolutely dreadful defensively. They do not scare me at all. I love Trae Young in this one. I think the matchup is great for him. I think the pace is going to be fast. I can't wait for the over-under to drop because I expect it to be very high. Absolutely love Trae Young at this 9.6 price tag. I expect him to go out there, put up a big game tonight, and there's no doubt in my mind that he is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Trae Young, get him in your lineups at his 9.6 price tag. That is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I greatly do appreciate that. Appreciate all the support I've got from you guys so far. We're upwards of 300 subscribers, on our way to 400. So if you do enjoy the content, I'll be here all NBA DFS season long, breaking down these slates to help you become better NBA DFS players. Just take a second and hit that subscribe button. I do greatly appreciate it. And if you are interested in some further content from me, you can check out my Patreon package, link below in the description, as well as my Thrive Fantasy link if you're interested in Thrive Fantasy. Deposit $20 or more, up to $50, they'll get you an instant deposit matched using promo code KJK DFS. And that is all from me. I wish you all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.